emotion in it. And I like it. Thanks for being here. Not just because I'm here, but because of your concern for the future of this country. Hold fast to your dreams. For when dreams go, life is like a barren field covered with snow. Hold fast to your dreams. Because if dreams die, life is like a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. So hold fast to your dreams. Our founding fathers had a dream. They envisioned the greatest country in the world. That was their dream. And they knew that in order for this nation to become the greatest country in the world, we've been able to do that in a short 235 years, that it was going to require 3 pillars that would allow us to become the nation that we have become today. First, political freedom. Political freedom. You know, fortunately, when we don't like what's going on in Washington, D.C., or in the State House, or in the governor's mansion, we can change things at the ballot box. And if you don't believe that there's a pent-up demand in the world for the type of Republican democracy that we enjoy, just look at what's going on in Egypt and Libya and Tunisia and all of those other countries. Our founders realized the political freedom. Political freedom was one of the strengths that would allow the American people to control its destiny. Secondly, our economic freedom. Our economic freedom based upon the principles of free market economics, free enterprise, and capitalism. Because not in many other countries around the world can entrepreneurs have an idea or have a dream and be able to invest their equity and their sweat equity into it, be able to be whatever they want to be in the greatest country in the world. Our political freedom. One of the pillars of America's greatness. Our economic freedom. One of the pillars of America's greatness. This country is not on the right track because our economy is stalled. After 2 years of promises of job growth, all we have gotten is government growth. That's all we have gotten because spending policies fail to stimulate jobs. 2 years ago, the United States Congress, President Obama started a track of spending nearly $1 trillion. 2 years later, the president is now saying that he is ready to listen to ideas from businessmen who know how to create jobs. I don't mean to be rude, but why weren't you listening 2 years ago? This is what frustrates you and me. Because I happen to think that that's just talk and we're not going to see anything different. Here's 5 things real quickly that we can do in order to stimulate and unleash the real economic power in this nation. First of all, a slow-growing economy, an anemic economy, folks, is a national security risk for us. Why? We only growing at about 2.5 to 2.6% a year. China is growing at 10% per year on a much smaller base. Their GDP is approximately $6 trillion. Our GDP is approximately $14 trillion. They are growing at 10% compounded per year. We're growing at 2%, 2.5% compounded per year. Easy math shows that in 15 to 20 years, that if we do not outgrow China, their GDP will be as big as ours. That is a national security risk. Why? If they have a GDP as big as ours, they're going to try to have a military as big as ours because they aspire to have the quality of military that we have. Thirdly, they have 1 billion more people. And fourthly, they hold the largest percentage of our debt of any other country on the planet. Do you think once they become as big as we are and as bad as we are militarily, and they're holding all of our debt, that we're going to be able to sit down with them and sing Kumbaya to keep them from taking over America? I don't think so. The China strategy is to outgrow China.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Here are five things I would have done differently. Number one, lower the top corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%. From 35 to 25. We are the only developed nation on the planet that has not lowered its top corporate tax rate in the last 15 years. And we wonder why jobs are leaving this country. And corporations are building facilities in other countries. Number two, make the tax rates permanent. You know what? 2 more years is just 2 more years of uncertainty. That's not going to inspire anybody to invest big dollars in businesses. No. Number three, take the capital gains tax rate to 0. Stop being afraid. Stop being afraid to incent entrepreneurs. That's what that does. Number four, suspend the taxes on repatriated profits. You know, multinational companies who have businesses in other countries, they make money over there, they pay taxes. But then if they bring the money back here, they got to pay taxes again. Why do that? In 2003, when the Bush administration did it, nearly $350 billion came back into this economy. It is estimated that today, given the size of our economy, that if it is done today, nearly $1 trillion would come back into this economy. Don't you think we need some of that money back home?
Yeah.
Spend taxes on repatriated profits. Now, the liberals and the Democrats, the reason they don't want to suspend it is because if they can't get a piece of it, they'd rather for it to stay abroad. That's what's wrong with that upside down liberal thinking, rather than do what's right for the nation. And then the fifth thing that I would do, you know that 2% payroll tax holiday that workers got for 12 months? It should have been the entire 6.2% for the employee and the employer. That would have been a direct stimulus rather than stimulus going through the government filter, and we know that does not work. We've got pent-up economic potential. We just need to let it go. One of the great things about this country, one of the things that allowed us to become great, been our economic freedom. And then here's the third thing as to why America has become great. And that is our ability to change, our resilience. Look what we have been through in the last 235 years as of July 4th. Look at the changes that this nation has withstood and still continue to prosper and grow. Why? Because of its people and the belief of we the people. We had to fight a war to get our independence called the Revolutionary War. Not everybody thought it was a good idea at the time, but enough true patriots did, which is why this nation and how this nation was born. We've had to survive the Revolutionary War. We have survived the sting of slavery. When the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence, they didn't set the bar low where they were that day, in that time. They set the bar high when they said all men are created equal, such that as a nation we could work up to that ideal, and we did. They didn't set it low, they set it high. And that's one of the reasons this nation has prospered. We have had to survive a civil war. We've had to survive World War I. We've had to survive World War II. We had to survive a depression. We've had to survive the conflict and the tension of the civil rights movement of the 50s and the 60s. And I believe in the American people, and I believe that based upon what you are doing and this citizens movement going on all across this nation, we will survive Barack Obama until we can replace him in 2012. Yes. Started with the vision of the founding fathers. America's greatness, our political freedom that we enjoy. America's greatness, propelled by our economic freedom, and America's greatness because of its ability to change. That's why you're here. I've had several reporters ask me, what did I hope to accomplish by being here with you today? Number one, you are here to become better informed, to learn some stuff, so you can go and help teach and train and influence others. Because as I have said recently, and I've said in some of my speeches, stupid people are running America.
Yes.
Stupid people are running America. And the reason you're here is because you don't want to be counted amongst the stupid. It was Thomas Jefferson who said, when people have the right information, they will make the right decisions. And
yes.
They showed that on November the 2nd, 2010, and they're going to show it again in November, and between now and November 2020. Thing that I shared with the reporters as to why I'm here is to help inspire you, because I'm inspired. You see, the liberals hope you give up. They hope we just throw in the towel. They hope we believe the rhetoric about it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to be in control for 4 more years after these next 2. That's what they hope. They hope that you are not inspired. They hope that you get tired of coming to defending the American Dream conferences. They're hoping that you get tired of listening to radio talk show hosts and speeches by people like Herman Cain. They hope that you get discouraged. But no, what they don't understand about this sleeping giant is that this sleeping giant called We the People has awakened and is not going back to sleep.
Yes.
Somebody asked me recently, why are you considering running for President of the United States? I said it's real simple. Because we are on the wrong track, and I can't just sit back and not do everything that I can do. Not everybody can do the same things. Not everybody was blessed with the same talent, skills, and abilities. We were all given a certain amount of time on this planet, and I happen to believe, because of my faith in God, that we are to use our time on this planet to make a difference. With the skills, the talents, and the abilities that each of us were given. Some of us can knock on doors. Some of us can stuff envelopes. Some of us can put on conferences. Some of us can teach and inform our friends and our families. And some of us can run for office if it is the will of the people. I am considering running for President of the United States. Woo! Because America is ready for a problem solver and not just another politician.
Yes.
Every time somebody tells me that I am a long shot candidate, I say to them, you don't know the story of my life. I've been a long shot all my life in everything that I've done. So that is not a good reason to discourage me. But one of the biggest things that encourages and inspires me is 12 years ago. 12 years ago, my first granddaughter was born. I wasn't supposed to be able to get back to the hospital in time. I was at a meeting in Hawaii. My granddaughter was being born in Atlanta. My wife was already there. But fortunately, without complications, my daughter was in labor for almost 3 days.
Oh my God.
I kept calling my son saying, Vincent, do we have a baby yet? No, Dad. I was trying to get to Atlanta. I was living in Omaha, Nebraska. I called that Wednesday. I called that Thursday. I called Thursday night, leading up to that Friday, January 22nd. Then when the plane landed, I thought sure flying from Austin, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia, that it would all be over. So as soon as I landed, I called Vincent. I said, Vincent, do we have a baby yet? No, Dad. Why don't we have a baby yet? Dad, it's a slow baby. I know that. But is everything all right? Yeah, Dad, everything is just fine. I landed at the Atlanta airport on January 22nd.
Okay.
Rented a car, drove to the hospital, got there at about 8:30 p.m. January 22nd. Went up to the waiting area. My son was there. My wife was in with my daughter and her husband. And I said, Vincent, do we have a baby yet? No, Dad. At 9:56, 26 minutes later, my wife came out of the delivery room with her hands on her hips, looked at me. You have a granddaughter. I said, that's wonderful. I said, is the baby all right? Yes. Is Melanie all right? Yes. Well, what's with the attitude? You have a granddaughter. My wife said, I've been with this girl for 3 days and you show up and the baby is born. I said, she was waiting on granddad. And my wife said, I know, and I've got to hear that story for the rest of my life. That's right. She was waiting on granddad. She said, would you like to see your granddaughter? Yes, dear. Went into the delivery room and daughter was there holding the baby. Then my daughter, I said, Melanie, you okay? She said, yeah, Dad, I'm fine. And she said, would you like to hold her? I said, yes. I took this little 20-minute-old baby in my arms, looked in that face. The first thought that went through my mind was not, what do I do to give her a better start in life? What do I do to make sure she has a better future? No, the first thought that went through my mind, so help me God. What do I do to make this a better world? You see, when my children were born, like you focused on their future. When your grandkids are born, you focus on the future of the nation. Ask any grandparent. You see, folks, it's not about us. It's about the grandkids. It's about the grandkids. The vision of our founders, our political freedom, our economic freedom, America's ability to change. The founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers in order to keep this as the greatest nation in the world. And as President Reagan used to remind us, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We can't pass it on to our kids in their bloodstream. It must be fought for. It must be protected so they can do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what the United States used to be like when men were free. I'm not going to have that conversation with my grandkids. And I don't think you are going to have that conversation with your grandkids. And we have an announcement, a breaking news announcement for this president and this administration and the liberals in this country. The United States of America is not going to become the United States of Europe, not on our watch.